All right, welcome. Hey, day 9 is in the books, guys. Momentum is building. In fact, we're getting close to being halfway through this challenge. I hope you guys are doing great, still sticking with it. In fact, won't you do this? Won't you go ahead, when you see this video, just leave a comment. Tell me how things are going in the Telegram group. I know several of us are really starting to get some really good momentum. We're feeling better, and we know results follow that. So good stuff, good stuff. So let me talk to you about, or set up rather, our topic for this video by telling you where we've been. Because if you were to think about it, all these topics are put together in segments of 4, right? So the first 4 segments had all to do with our dreams. It's what, the things we desire, the goals that we create out of those dreams, the reasons behind those dreams, and obviously the disciplines. Understanding that discipline is required as a part of your dream. And so those are 4 things that you have to understand about your dreams and what you want in life. We just finished another segment of 4 concepts, and it was all under the umbrella of personal development. All right. And for me, when I think about personal development, I think about health. I think about vitality. I think about getting better, becoming the better version of you. And so for me, I think about my personal development into 4 areas: my physical health, my emotional health, my intellectual health, and my spiritual health. And we talked very much about those. You can go back, check out the videos. But physical health, it's your vitality. It's how you feel, right? I do believe if we would just begin to feel better, right, we would do better. We talked about your emotional health. That's your attitude, right? It's your perception. It's how you choose to view life. Is it half empty, half full? Are you emotionally prepared to deal with the ups and downs of life? Super good question. Intellectually, are you a learner? Are you trying to grow in your knowledge, understanding? Are you developing skills? Right? Maybe you need to develop skills. Maybe you're in school right now. Maybe you're doing webinars and different things to improve yourself. I'll tell you this, reading books, right? We just want to be constant learners, so that way we're increasing our intellect. And the last one, spiritual health, has all to do with who you really are, becoming a coherent, characteristic person. And when I mean characteristic, what I really mean is a person of character, a person of integrity, that who you are in the inside, on the inside, is who you are on the outside, that you're a congruent person. And all of that has to do with your identity, who it is you are, but more importantly, the identity that you are leveling up. You have to actually change your identity in order to change the rest of you, because what will happen is we get these strives where we become better, but our thermostat, or our identity, acts like a thermostat, is what one mentor talks about. And what happens is that identity then gets regulated back to our original comfortable self. So what we have to do is learn to increase our identity, so that way we can go above and beyond where we are here and now. So that's personal development. So the next round of 4, I'll just go ahead and tell you, we're going to be doing 4 segments on this. And this is a topic that is of great interest, but I think very misunderstood, maybe even controversial. Okay, but I want to talk about it. I want us to start thinking about this, because if we would consider this and really start looking at some proof in scripture and things like that, I think it would change the way we approach this topic, this big category. And that category is financial independence, or financial freedom. Okay, and here's what we're really talking about: being able to live off of assets that you own. In other words, you are independent. You don't require any kind of supplication or anything, that you have developed great investment strategies, retirement strategies, all these things to not only provide for you in your older age, but also, as the Bible would talk about, leaving an inheritance for your children's children. Now, I believe this is a very noble, worthy thing, and I think it's misunderstood a lot, because especially in the realm of church, and what I don't want to do is fall on either side of this road. This is a very middle of the road concept, because I think what can happen is you can fall off into the ditch where you become you have a love of money, right? You're in love with it, and that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is actually understanding what wealth is, what it means to, Paul would talk about, I know how to abound, and I know how to be abased. I know how to be content in all things, right? But contrastly, that does not mean that it makes us somewhat better because of being impoverished or something of that nature. Nothing wrong with being right in a situation of need, but there's also this level of, let's get beyond the need so that we can help other people. And I'll tell you this, I've talked to many pastors who have shared stories about how God would use people who are financially independent, and guess what? They lived a lifestyle of generosity. They lived a lifestyle where they were actually able, God had entrusted them to fund different ministries or churches, or be benefactors for people that had fallen on rough times. I'm just merely telling you that there is a middle of the road area that I think we should all consider and start talking about this concept of financial freedom. If you're a big fan of Dave Ramsey, you'll know that he talks a lot about biblical principles towards becoming financially free, being debt free, and being able to leave a legacy. And I think what we should do is begin to start talking more about this. And for me, I do a lot of reading, researching, studying people that are very knowledgeable in the area of finances, and they've really got it broken down into 4 areas. So that's what we're going to talk about. And the first one that we're going to begin with is merely value. Value. There's a total difference between value and cost. Most of the time we operate in an idea of what's it cost, right? What's it cost? What's it cost, right? You go to the store, your first reaction is, what's it cost? And can I afford it based on what it costs? Now, that is one way of thinking financially. Nothing wrong with that, right? There is a level of living within your means, but what I want us to begin thinking about is value. In other words, how valuable is this? See, there's some things that cost so little that you can afford, but it has no value. It doesn't do anything to add to your life. Just because you can afford the cost doesn't mean it's a value to your life. Consequently, I would submit to you that what you earn is not in conjunction with necessarily what you're doing, but how much value you're adding to where you work. For instance, I'll tell you this, right? Think about it like this. A business and let's take a McDonald's, right? Okay. Nothing wrong with McDonald's, and well, yeah, I'll be careful. I'll tread lightly, okay? Whether you're for McDonald's, against McDonald's, I'm just looking at it as the business, okay? Let's not get into the nutrition part. As a business, each location has pretty well a maximum of what it can produce, right? As far as revenue goes, as far as how much money that one location can make. And so fitting within that one location, depending on what you're doing, you're going to get paid equivalent to the value you're bringing to that business. So in other words, are you helping that particular location generate all that it can generate? Or are you just merely showing up? You see, those are two different values. There's the value that increases the business, and then the value of just merely showing up. That's that employee versus employer mentality. See, it's you don't realize the burden that is on an employer or a manager or someone that has to be a leader until you are that one leader, right? When you're just showing up and you just, clock in, clock out, right? And you do just enough not to get fired, right? But not enough to really excel, right? That is so frustrating for a leader to have somebody that has potential but won't act with that potential because it's wasted value, right? But when you become more valuable by, again, going back to personal development, by having great vitality, great energy, having great work ethic, having a great attitude. I'll tell you this, great attitudes make you more valuable. There's nothing worse in an organization than working with someone with a poor, toxic attitude. So yes, you can get paid more simply because you have a great attitude. You get paid more with the skills that you bring to that organization. Right? For instance, at McDonald's, I'll tell you this, and again, I'm not picking on McDonald's, I'm just using this as an example. Isn't it delightful when you are a customer and you go through the drive-thru and someone talks with you with quality language, with good communication, that they go above and beyond to serve you, that the response isn't, what do you want? But it's, hey, welcome. Thanks for coming. What can we get you today, right? There's that attitude. There's great communication skills, right? All of these things are working together and it creates this value that is absolutely priceless. So here's what happens. Going back to value. You're working in that one location. You maximize its potential. In fact, you even increase it. Now, all of a sudden, people that own not just that McDonald's store, but multiple stores, multiple franchises, they're looking at this store that has increased in value and they're asking, what happened? What's going on? Well, the signs are going to point to the source of that value add. And if that's you, you're going to be elevated to a higher level with higher compensation, with greater opportunity. How did all this happen? How did you go from just showing up to now being promoted? It's because you became more valuable. And so with financial freedom, understand this. I'm starting with value because here's the truth. In certain situations, let me just put it this way. Yes, you should save your money. But if you don't make enough, you can't save anything. And I will submit to you, you can only save so much, okay? I mean, you think of it this way. I want you to start thinking about value. Let me give you another word, abundance. Abundance. In other words, there's more. There's more. See, what happens is when you start thinking scarce-like, here's what happens. I need to save. That means I need to shrink and I need to get small, small, small. Well, guess what? You can only save till you hit zero and then you're tapped out. But abundance means I can expand and I can keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I can get as big as my capacity will allow for me to be. But here again, the value is you have to have that kind of ability, skill set. You have to be that kind of a person. You have to develop personally to begin to add value through what you do, to stimulate the economy, to be a person that helps serve others. I'll leave you with this. This is a great quote because what I'm telling you is we should start thinking about how can we become more valuable to those that we serve. And here's the key. Zig Ziglar said, you can have anything you want in life as long as you'll help enough other people get what they want to. Value is all about serving, how well you serve them and how much you add to their life. So that's the step one in what I'm hearing financial experts talk about when it comes to financial independence. Let's focus on how to become more valuable. Wouldn't it be something if all of a sudden people started side businesses where they were generating extra money because they were helping serve people, or they got promotions, right, because they had become a better version of themselves and people noticed, so they got elevated, right? All of these things are possible. The question is, are you going to work? And are you going to start talking and thinking about value and abundance? Think about it. All right. I'll catch you tomorrow for the next topic under financial freedom.